we clearly see the perfect example of skinny fat. She's both underweight and overweight at the same time. Make that make sense, but yet it's true. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be critiquing, probably in a negative way, a transformation by Lisa Huang. Now, she started this transformation being obese. She was fat. She clearly had a lot of weight to lose. On paper, she isn't really all that heavy, 145 pounds, 65 kilograms, but she carried a tremendous amount of fat, and so she is the picture-perfect example of someone who is skinny fat. Skinny as in she doesn't really have much muscle, but she carries a tremendous amount of fat. And so remember, the average American, way heavier than this, she's about 180 pounds, and so she kind of has a body that most people have. They're small, not a lot of muscle, but a lot of fat. And so she said, enough is enough. I gotta lose the weight. And so what she essentially did is she starved herself. Now, do I know if she used Ozempic or Tirzepatide? I do not know. And frankly, I don't care. Whether you use those GLPs to help you lose weight, to make it easier to reduce your cravings or not, that is up to you. If you're interested, of course, you can go and ask your doctor. You could go to AlgoRx and see if you need to get your blood work done. Use code Greg for your discount. Or, of course, I would recommend you get my cookbook. This is what it's for, the low-calorie, delicious recipes, as well as the GLP Max to reduce the cravings. But she lost the weight by starving herself and doing absolutely nothing. She didn't go to the gym. She didn't do cardio. She didn't lift weights. She just ate in a deficit and frankly just went to work and went to bed. Let us see the results because she lost a tremendous amount of weight. Are you going to be expecting a girl with a six-pack with biceps looking incredible? Well, let us see. She's still skinny fat. You're probably at this point thinking, Coach Greg is a hater. He just rage baits us. He just tries to lie. And so what's happened is she's lost 46 pounds. It's over 20 kilograms, but she still has fat to lose. You're probably thinking, what on earth are you talking about? You're probably thinking she's underweight. She doesn't have enough fat. She's actually too skinny, but that isn't true. Her body fat percentage, according to DEXA, which you guys all know and love, you all believe that it's accurate. I keep saying it's a DEXA scam, as in it's a guess. It's not 100% accurate. But according to the DEXA scam, she's over 29% body fat. Healthy body fat for a female is about 25%. She's lost 46 pounds, but still has some weight to go. Based on having a healthy body fat percentage, when clearly she's under triple digits, she only weighs 99 pounds. This is very, very small. Why is that? What do you think happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. She lost a lot of her muscle while dieting because she wasn't eating enough calories and she wasn't lifting weights, which prevented her from maintaining that muscle mass. The first comment that I see, it says, no muscle mass to be found. She then responds, I have a lifting background, so I actually do have, but the next goal, challenge, is gaining muscle and weight while dropping more fat. Interesting. And so she says, I actually have a background in lifting weights. The problem is she didn't use that background while doing this cut. I reached out to her, tried to get her to comment. Perhaps she didn't see my messages. She did not comment. And so I'm making the video and I have to presume, but I watched all of her other videos. And so I know what she did to lose that weight. Yes, I'm being critical. Yes, she could have done a lot better, but I'm making this video to help you who might in fact copy her. You might do the exact same thing and you too might also lose all of your muscle. You might end up at only 99 pounds with little muscle left, a very rock bottom metabolism. It's clearly been slowed. We're going to go over that in a minute. And so now that she's lost all that weight, she's now trying to put on more muscle and to continue to get leaner. She should have been doing that in the first place.
Lisa lost 46 pounds within the last year. She weight lifted for years and had more muscle than the average woman. But during her weightless journey, she barely exercised.
All of that hard work, gone. Out the window, and the same could happen to you if you rely on a drug like Ozempic and or Tirzepatide or Retta, and you don't go to the gym, you don't eat enough protein, you don't eat enough calories, you can end up with Ozempic butt, Ozempic face, Ozempic vulva. I don't care what you want to call it. What I'm going to call it is a deconditioned physique. You're not going to the gym, you're not lifting the weights, and so of course the muscles are going to get smaller. That is how it works.
Now that she doesn't want to lose any more weight and wants to look more toned, it's the perfect time to get a DEXA scan. The tests will provide her with useful baseline information about her body.
By useful, it's like this. The DEXA scan can guess how much muscle she has, how much body fat she has, and she can use whatever device she wants to guess her calorie burn, but it's not 100% accurate. And so if you go strictly by those numbers, it could be wrong. And if it's off for you, that will neglect your gains. And so, yeah, it can potentially be somewhat useful, but more useful of that is simply tracking your body weight. If you're 99 pounds and you're trying to put on more muscle and not get overly lean, not lose too much weight, then every week when you weigh yourself, you shouldn't see the scale going down. If it is, you're probably too far in a deficit and you should eat more. If your weight suddenly jumps up, you're eating too much and you should eat less. And so the best way to track your body is not by doing the calorie count every single day, but more so tracking your body weight. That does not lie. Whether you tracked 1, 2, 3,000 calories a day, how does that matter? Because the end result is your weight going up or is it going down?
Lisa plans to go on a body recomposition journey where she gains as much muscle and lose as much body fat as she can in 4 weeks.
She's trained for years to put on muscle, and then it took a year to diet to lose that 45 pounds, the entire year, of which she lost a bunch of muscle. And in 4 weeks, she's expected to gain it back. In 4 weeks, as a 99-pound female who is not even using Turk Builder Max, let alone steroids, how much muscle do you think she's actually going to put on? I mean, all of you made fun when Coach Greg said he put on 4 pounds of muscle in a month. How much muscle do you think she's going to put on? 2 pounds? If she's lucky? Do you really think that the DEXA scan can track accurately to that extent? If she goes into the DEXA scan 5 hours later, not 5 months, not 5 weeks, not 5 days, 5 hours later, and she drinks 2 liters of water, the DEXA scan is going to say that she gained almost 4 pounds of muscle. That is in 4 hours because the DEXA scan doesn't know the difference between water, muscle, all these things. It just assumes, hey, water is in muscle, and so how does it know? This experiment, it's not accurate. I know you want it to be accurate. She's a young female, and so of course you're cheering for her and you're cheering for Coach Greg to lose because, well, I'm a misogynist because I'm making a video on a female. The only difference is I'm trying to help you to understand the things that you should actually be doing on your weight loss journey.
Your body fat is 29.3%. Lean mass is at 66% at 68 pounds.
Lean mass, 68 pounds, body fat percentage, 29.3. But yet you hated on Coach Greg because I said she was overweight. How can you be overweight and underweight at the same time? It's called being skinny fat. Do you get it? Now, do I need to repeat myself? Skinny fat is when you're skinny, but you're fat. Now, technically, is she really fat? I mean, she's overweight. Is she fat? It depends. She certainly doesn't look portly. She doesn't look fat, but she is in fact overweight, meaning she has too much fat. And so is she fat? Well, 29.3% of her is fat. Is she muscle? 66%. You be the judge.
This is probably the second most important part of the scan. This is your visceral fat. This is the fat that you can't see. This is the fat around the organs of 0.43, less than a half a pound.
Oh my God. Damn, I'm like really skinny fat.
She herself calls herself skinny fat. You already judged that I'm a bad person for calling her fat. Skinny fat, fat, overweight. Are they all not the same terms? Like, are we really going to get down and fight over the semantics? Notice she laughs about it. Ha, I'm skinny fat. And so when I say that she's fat and or she's overweight, or she's 29% body fat, she's 4.3% above what she should be, am I actually a hater? Or am I just speaking the truth?
The DEXA scan only took 5 to 10 minutes. And now let's move on to the resting metabolic rate test that will only take 15. It will let Lisa know how many calories she burns if she simply does nothing but exist all day.
You really think in 15 minutes of breathing with a tube on your nose that you can decide how many calories you burn in a day? And so frankly, this is how many calories she burns if she's sitting down and watching TV. Does that not vary if you're laying down and you're sleeping? If you're standing up? If you're eating food, if you're recording a video, of course it's going to change.
So your RMR is 1150. All right, a little lower than your predicted 1265.
That's even less than the machine would have predicted. Based on your height and weight, it's thinking 1265. You're even lower than that, and you know why that is? Because she has hardly any muscle because she's skinny fat. Muscle burns more calories than fat. A pound of muscle on average burns approximately 6 to 8 calories. A pound of fat burns approximately 2 calories. And so if you're mostly muscle in comparison to mostly fat, you have a faster metabolism. Just sitting here with the arms, chest of Coach Greg, I burn more calories than you because my body is bigger. I have more muscle. I may not be taller, but my lean body mass is very active. Now, if you're a 400-pound fatso, your metabolism is faster than mine. You might be thinking, no, that doesn't make sense. If I'm so fat, it's because I have a slow metabolism. Coach Greg, you have a fast metabolism. Look how lean that you are. It doesn't work like that. The bigger body that you have, the more calories your body burns. She's 99-pound female. How much do you think that she's eating? I'm almost double that, and so I probably need twice the calories. Does that make sense? If you're 400 pounds of fat, you still need way more calories than a woman like this. And so 400-pound man probably would need triple the calories as she does just to maintain their weight.
Probably want to start here or a slight surplus.
How does he know how many calories that she's going to need? 1,150 calorie metabolism if you're laying down. Well, what if she does 2 hours of cardio a day? What if she goes to the gym? What if she starts burning calories through NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis? She starts vacuuming, cleaning. She starts walking to work. This is going to dramatically change the amount of calories that she needs. And so she can't just follow a specific diet and expect it to make sense.
Your goal is to put on more lean mass. We're not looking for weight loss.
And so if her goal is to put on more lean mass, not looking so much for weight loss, she should be tracking her weight. You're 99 pounds right now. I want you to track your weight most mornings, and I want that weight to be up a little bit, 1 pound a week tops. And so you go to the gym, you wake up, and if you weigh 98 pounds, you got to eat more. It's too light. We're trying to get you to 100 pounds. You're going to start doing zone 2 cardio, so you're going to burn more calories. You need to eat to replace those calories, and you're going to be going to the gym. You're going to be doing the bench presses, the squats, the glute raises, all of these things in order to build more muscle and get that toned physique that you want. That requires calories. And so if the next day you weigh 99.5 pounds, well, you're well on your way. You're doing good. However, if you continue to gain weight, you're 100, 101, 103. If you're up 4 pounds in 1 week, you're eating too much. There's too many calories, there's too much fat. Your glycogen stores, of course, are going to go up. Tone it down a little bit. Track your weight so that it's slowly going up. Frankly, if she goes up a half a pound a week for a month, that would be 2 pounds in a month. That is plenty. If she continues to gain at 1/2 to maybe 1 pound a week for a little while, there's no reason to gain more than that. The problem people make is they go in a bulk, they add in 500 plus calories each and every day, but the majority of the weight that they're gaining, it's actually fat.
I'm going to try to gain as much muscle and lose as much body fat as possible in 4 weeks, so stay tuned for that challenge. Bye.
And so notice, she says herself, I'm going to try to gain as much muscle and lose as much fat as possible in 4 weeks. And so how would you do that? For example, Togi has a $100,000 challenge, 60-day transformation. Whoever can make the most dramatic transformation in 60 days is going to win that money. Now, somebody who looks like Coach Greg at the start, it's impossible to win. I could take all the test and trend in the world, and sure, in 60 days, I'm going to put on muscle, but it's not going to be as an amazing transformation as somebody who's already fat. To start this challenge, to win the Togi's $100,000, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this. On day 1, before you take the photo, you eat as much shit as you can, loaded in sodium, water, lots of carbs, salted crackers, pizzas, everything. Get as fat as humanly possible. Stick out that gut, stand there, make sure you don't have a proper tan, and weigh yourself as fat as you've ever been. If you're typically 200 pounds, weigh yourself weighing 215. That gives you an amazing starting point because that is bloat weight that's going to come off like that. Next, you're going to do 4 to 6 hours of cardio a day, zone 2. The easier the cardio, the more sustainable it's going to be. And so that is going to strip off so much body fat that you could easily lose 5 pounds of fat each and every week. The cardio is the key. On top of that, you're going to have a very low calorie diet. You're going to make sure to eat plenty of protein, at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but you have to be in a tremendous deficit, perhaps 3,000 calories a day and or more. And in addition to that, you're going to lift weights for your upper body to make that impressive transformation. All the bike riding is going to be hard to lift weights. And so for 60 days, you're going to do that. In those 8 weeks, you're going to lose approximately 40 pounds of fat, plus the 15 pounds of bloat that you gained the first week. And so about 55 pounds. 60-day transformation, close to 60 pounds of body weight dropped. And in addition to that, you're probably going to have to use steroids. What? And so your body has more energy, your testosterone levels, rather than being crashed because of the high amounts of steroids that you're using, you're going to be through the roof. You're going to build more muscle. And so in that before and after transformation in 60 days, you're going to lose 55 pounds of fat and put on perhaps 5 or 10 pounds of muscle. Hard to put on more muscle than that because you're doing tremendous amounts of cardio, but the steroids is going to help you. Bonus points if you were ever an IFBB pro in the past. You have muscle memory. And so if you used to train and you suddenly had been stopped for multiple years, you still remember how to build that muscle. And so you then have a clear advantage. And so that is who's going to win Togi's $100,000 fitness 60-day transformation. And you thought you had a chance by simply locking in and going to the gym. Do you know how many people are writing me in the DM saying, Coach Greg, please help me win? Well, this is the information that you need. And so essentially, look what peak week bodybuilders do in order to peak for their bodybuilding debuts. And that combined with day one's advice, you will have the most dramatic transformation anyone has ever seen in their lives. My 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, very clever title. I like this. And so from 9 to 5, she goes to work. Unlike you who clearly are unemployed. Remember, if you are unemployed, you can use code unemployed for your discount at HDLT Supplements for your Turk Builder Max, the GO2 Max, all the different things. But she's going to show exactly what does she do after work. You know, at work, she sits like this. She sits on a computer. If you were employed, you would know what that's like. You're clearly unemployed. You guys are playing video games. It's kind of the same thing. And so she gets up and goes into an elevator, which then moves her to get ready to go home. Okay, and then so she sits on a subway, which then carries her back to her home, showers, lays on the couch, and starts to doom scroll. She then has a little nap, takes 3 steps, and goes to bed. Slept through dinner, forgot to eat protein, forgot to eat calories. What do you think is happening to her muscles right now? What would happen to your house if you had several workers standing there ready to work, but you didn't give them hammers, nails, boards, nothing? The house would not build and eventually would fall apart. Okay, and then she's got her, time of the month, so she clearly can't exercise or work out and has to be depressed because, hormones. And, I'm a misogynist for reading what she's saying about how it dictates her mood and energy on a daily. Not as if men don't deal with hormones. Men don't have fluctuating levels of testosterone. No, they would never do that. No, all men have topped up perfect levels of testosterone their entire life. No one would ever need to go to Algorex and get their blood work taken, with code Greg for their discount, to see if their testosterone levels are in the toilet, to see if they perhaps need enclomiphene. No, that could never happen. No matter how sleepy she is, no matter what, the deal breaker, the puck stops here on my skin hygiene. That is clearly important. I need to have delicate, soft-looking skin. I mean, never mind if my heart is out of shape and doesn't get any cardio. Never mind if I don't lift and work out to help build my muscles. But my skin on my face, that is what I need. And so picture this. You care so much about your health, but all you really care about is sleeping and putting cream on your face. You don't care about your cardio, about your heart. You're not taking GO2 Max to have more energy and be able to do better in your endurance. Maybe you could walk to work or perhaps jog. Get in some zone 2 cardio, at least zone 1. As frankly, she's doing nothing. She's just sitting there. Like, you want to know the fastest way to lose muscle? Lay in bed and don't move. If you do not move, your muscles have no reason to grow. The reason you have the muscle that you have right now is because of your daily life. If you don't lift any weights at all, there's still muscles on your body because, well, you carried groceries into the house, you walked up a flight of stairs instead of taking the elevator, and so you have some muscle. The more shit that you do, the bigger your muscles are going to get, and so don't forget that. And so somebody writes, but mine is 10 to 7. What should I do? When you're not working from 10 to 7, you can then do other things. And her advice? Oh, that's tough. Sometimes I'm in the office till then too. Still, try to find some time after work to relax. You can relax when you go to bed. Finding time to relax 8 hours a day, you can sleep What she should be saying is find some time to do zone 2 cardio and or lift some weights. Finding time to relax is not as important as finding time to exercise. And frankly, going to exercise is going to make it easier to relax. All that stress that's pent up from your work where your boss is yelling at you all day long, if you are in fact employed, that stress that is built up inside of you, the best way to take care of that is to use that energy and take it out on weights, on cardio. And while doing that cardio, lifting those weights, while your muscles are working out, that is when your mind can relax. The stresses of the world are diminishing. They're going down. You're taking out that frustration through exercise. It's the best of both worlds. You're getting the dopamine and the endorphins, and you're getting in better shape, and you're de-stressing on top of everything else. To just go to work and then just lay down, doom strolling, that's her advice. You need some time to relax. You got to get home from work and decompress by doom scrolling. You need 2 days a week bird watching in Central Park, very relaxing and soothing. I do it 4 days a week. Her response, I love people watching at Central Park too. Yeah, it's interesting, but there's better things you could do. Why not jog while people watching? Or like Coach Greg, get on a bike. You ride the bike, you can see other people riding their bikes cheering for you. Go harder up that hill. Great job. This is fun, and it burns calories, and it de-stresses your body, and you won't lose all your muscles while on your calorie deficit diet. It always fascinates me how interested people are into what other people eat. Are you watching this so then you get ideas on what you should eat in a day? Because you shouldn't copy her diet. And so if you copy her diet, you're going to end up in the same boat as she did. You're going to lose too much weight. It's going to be a lot of muscle, and it's not good. All right, and so she gets up and has a cup of tea. Well, there's a good 5 calories. The fasting you just did overnight where you didn't consume anything, and then you have breakfast, which stands for breaking a fast. And so she breaks her fast with how many grams of protein? A zero. It's a cup of tea. It's doing nothing. Like, what are we going on right now? Why not just get up and drink some water and eat? I focus high protein in all my meals. This is great advice. Protein is going to be more satiating. It's only got 4 calories per gram, and it helps you to build muscle. This seems to be a pretty massive meal for a woman of this size. She's got some whole eggs as well as like hash browns for carbs, as well as some meat. Sugar-free sauces that are lower in calories, and so, hey, I think this is a good meal. She chews slowly and thoroughly. Hey, if that floats your boat, be my guest. Gives my body enough time to feel fullness. Do you want to know how to feel full? Eat from my cookbook. Like, eating a lot of protein does help you to be more full. Of course, that's a focus of this. But do you know what else helps? A lot of fruits and vegetables. A lot of fiber. If all you eat is protein and fat for the most part, you're not going to be as full as if you add in some fruits and vegetables. And why? Because fruits and vegetables have a lot of volume for hardly any calories. If you see how many calories are in a pound of strawberries, blueberries, mushrooms, lettuce, spinach, the list goes on, there's hardly any. About 100 calories per pound in vegetables, and a lot of the fruits, perhaps 100 or 200 calories in a pound. This is not many calories for a shit ton of food. And so if you're trying to feel more full, have a little bit less food in that plate and eat a lot more fruits and vegetables. It will make a significant difference. And so it's been an hour since lunch and she's already out shopping for more food. She's supposed to be full. That meal did not work. She's not actually full if she's already craving Korean bread. And frankly, what I keep telling people is that if you don't eat early in the morning, ghrelin, that's the hunger hormone, it rises. It makes it very hard to be satisfied. And so despite the fact that she eats a massive bowl of food, it isn't enough. Here's the thing with moderation. These portion sizes are ridiculous. So she's eating bread. I call this a donut. It's like, we're just talking semantics. Why didn't she just eat half? It says, I crave so many sweets before my period. Well, you're all going to say, I don't have a period, so how could I know what it's like? Have I not been dating girls for perhaps 3 or 4 decades? I know what it's like. Some people experience more cravings, some people do not. Something that I sell that deliberately lowers cravings is GLP Max. Go from an 8 out of 10 hunger to a 6. Instead of being super hungry and needing to eat your face off, you can control it. Just because you're craving a sweet doesn't mean you need to eat one the size of your head. Okay, you could eat half of it. So let's pretend that that bread, donut, whatever you want to call it, was 4 times as big as that. And so, for example, it was a crumble cookie. If you were craving a cookie, and instead of eating an Oreo or some 65 calorie cookie, you went and got a crumble cookie that had 800 calories, would you just eat it all? Just because you're craving something doesn't mean you need to eat it all. When I'm craving ice cream, I don't need to eat the entire container of Haagen-Dazs. I can have Greek yogurt ice cream. Perhaps eat 2 of those and it's enough to satisfy my sweet tooth. I don't need to give it everything that it desires. And so you can see she's eating some vegetables. I would suggest that vegetable portion be double, triple, quadruple that amount. She has a massive serving of fish, the salmon. She doesn't need to eat this much. It's fine if she does. But I do believe she would have better success with more vegetables and less meat and or fish. And of course, having enough fluids, plenty of fluids, is going to help with your weight loss, is going to keep you satisfied. You're going to eat less. To the same extent, adding more vegetables and fruits is kind of like hydrating your body as well, because fruits and vegetables have a lot of water. Just think of a watermelon. And the tea doesn't really do anything. And if there's caffeine in the tea, it's going to make it harder to sleep. It doesn't really de-bloat you and all of that bullshit. What de-bloats you is eating healthy. For example, her diet here, it doesn't contain a lot of calories. It doesn't have a lot of carbs, and so she's not going to be very bloated. Now, if she had more vegetables and more fruit, which are loaded in fiber, it would in fact cause a bit more bloating. Some people don't like that because when you first wake up in the morning, your stomach is very flat, and when you eat your vegetables, your fruits, and when you eat breakfast, your stomach gets distended, and so people think, oh, now I'm so bloated, I don't look good. Well, your morning state, when you first wake up, that is not a normal state of your body. That is how you look when your body is empty, when it has no food. Your body needs food, and so don't expect your stomach at night to look as flat as it did when you wake up. Are you aware that is underweight? And so truth be told, at her height and weight, she is underweight. Her BMI, it's 17.5. It does qualify as that term for being underweight. It starts with an A. I'm not going to say it. Everyone in the comment section is hating on this person for suggesting that this is underweight. People are allowed to care. If she posts a video saying, this is how I lost all this weight, somebody can make a video and say, I'm concerned that maybe you lost too much weight because based on your height and weight, it's underweight. There are medical definitions for terms that are underweight. Now, the reason she's underweight isn't because she doesn't have enough body fat. She actually has 29.3%, which is a lot. It's overweight. It's because she doesn't have enough muscle. We clearly see the perfect example of skinny fat. She's both underweight and overweight at the same time. Make that make sense, but yet it's true. She's underweight based on her height and weight, but she's overweight based on her body fat. And so she should, in fact, try to decrease her body fat, but at the same time, she needs to put on more muscle. And so if she just dropped down 4 or 5% body fat, got down to 94 pounds, yeah, she would have a healthy body fat percentage. But she would be underweight, as in under-muscled, and so she needs to lift some weights. And so this is what happens when you don't go to the gym. She spent a year dieting, formerly had a lot of muscle. Her words, not mine. She said she had more muscle than most. Lost all those muscles from overly strict dieting. And so she's showing you the diet that caused her to have this problem. Despite the fact that she ate all that protein. Despite the fact that, yeah, it seemed to be healthy. She did have some vegetables. She had some healthy fat. She had salmon. She had protein. She had carbs. It wasn't enough. Now, had she followed this exact diet, perhaps added in 200-300 extra calories, and gone to the gym and lifted weights, and how often would she need to do that? If she had lifted weights, total body, twice a week, 1 hour, would have been enough. Oh, she never had time. She works. She just needs to stop doom scrolling. When she got onto that subway, she could have gone to the subway to the gym. She could have walked to the gym, jogged. I don't care. 2 times a week, if she had lifted weights, she would have way more muscle. And so instead of weighing 99 pounds, perhaps she would weigh 110 pounds. She would be 5 kilograms heavier. Her BMI would be much healthier. It would be above the underweight category. And maybe because she has more muscle, her metabolism would have been even faster and she would have lost more fat. And so had she have done things right the first time, for example, had she hired Coach Greg, she could have had the toned physique that she dreamed of. More muscle, less fat, which is exactly what she's trying. She's trying to do this in 4 weeks. It's not going to be enough time. She's going to need at least 4 months. probably a year. Because remember, she's a female. She's only at 99 pounds. She's not on performance-enhancing drugs, and she's not even on Turk Builder Max. And so if you want to improve your chances of getting the toned physique that your dreams of course, click the link in the description and use code Greg for your discount. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Please go to Algorex. Don't forget to use code Greg. Watch one of those two bloops. Did you subscribe yet? Have you clicked the bell button? Don't forget, if you'd like to be sponsored or, in fact, be an ambassador of HGLT supplements, or if you want to get coached by myself and my team, or to sell these amazing supplements in your store and or gym, click the link. The information is right there. And until next time, I am out.